Morning YouTube, Skipper T here. One thing about bushcrafting that we don't talk about a lot is that in order to get out into the woods, to go out and go camping, to sling on a backpack and go out and walk through the woods, you've got to be in some kind of shape. It seems to be a portion of that we just don't discuss that much. And yet it's probably the most critical aspect, because you can have all the coolest tools in the world, but if you're not in shape enough to get out there and use them when A, you want to, B, if you have to, then the point is moot. So one has to get into some kind of shape. Yes, I know that round is a shape. I represent that nicely. But at the same time, you have to have some ability to keep yourself fit. You have to be able to get to where you're going. If you're in a bad situation, a natural disaster, an SHTF scenario, you have to be able to get to where you're going. A couple of ways you can do that. You can walk. Secondly, you can ride a bicycle. If there's a giant EMP or something for whatever reason and your car doesn't start, this will, because as long as you can pedal this, you can go anywhere you need to. Since the invention of the bike, there's probably been more bikes sold than any other probably item other than food out there. They are prolific worldwide. In fact, this is the giant Sedona Dx hybrid bicycle. And now the hybrid bicycle is basically a combination of street and mountain bike. It gives you the kind of the best of both worlds wrapped into one package. Are you going to be able to keep up with the 25 mile an hours, on the street bikes with the little skinny, 20 millimeter, tires on them and things like that? No, you're not. You're going to be close, but you're not going to be able to hang with them the whole time. Can you go off-road on a pure mountain bike type scenario and do massive jumps and various things like that? No. Again, this bike's not designed to be a hardcore off-road mountain bike. It's not a hardcore on-road bike either. It's the best of both worlds. One of the things that makes them so very popular is that they're extremely comfortable. This particular bike, again, is the giant Sedona DX. I've had this about 6 years. It's a 24 speed. It's got the finger flips up here. It came with some rotating gear shifts on it. I swapped those all out. Got some good Shimano, or can't think of the name of it at the moment. I'll post it up in the YouTube video. But so I put some good, these are actually SRAM shifters that are on here. Man, you just click your thumb on it and it shifts through the gears. There are 24 gears on this particular bike. Again, it's got a hard frame in the back, but the seat compression, it has a compression post on it. So as I'm going over bumps, this seat will compress about an inch and a half. So that does absorb some of the shock if you're off-road. It does come standard with the front fork shock absorbers. It does only have one adjustment on the left side, but you can make it stiff, you can make it soft, whatever it is that you're riding on, you can adjust to that particular environment. This particular bike came with swept back handlebars. They came back, I don't know, 10-15 degrees. But I don't like riding like this. It tends to throw my elbows in and my shoulders up, and after a while that just kind of hurts the upper body. I couldn't get relaxed. So what I did was I took a set of mountain bike handlebars that had a 5 to 7 degree sweep on them, and I put that sweep down. It was more comfortable for me to be more in this position than to have my hands in the cruiser bike position. I suppose you could ride like that, but it just didn't feel comfortable. It wasn't secure for me. These are pretty flat as far as mountain bike handlebars are concerned. Like I said, they've got about a 5 to 7 degree sweep on them, but I just rotated it so that sweep goes down, and now my hands are more like in this position, far more comfortable to lean on when I'm riding or to pull on when I'm riding, if I want to push and go through the trees, etc. That was just a far more natural feel to me than having my hands swept back like this. Again, as soon as I do that, my elbows come in, my shoulders go up. Short distance, man, I'm uncomfortable. So I swapped out the handlebars on this one. It's my personal choice. Think about it, see if it works for you. If not, go with whatever's most comfortable for you. The entire objective is to get off of the couch, get out of the house, go for a ride, get outside, get some cardio going on a bicycle, get your body working. You would be surprised how much of an entire body workout riding a bicycle is, and yet at the same time it's a very comfortable, very easy thing to do. You can start off with a 30-minute ride around the neighborhood. You know, in 30 minutes you can go 4, 5, 6 miles and not even know it. This particular bike, like I said, I've had it for about 6 years. I've got almost 7,000 miles on it. It looks pretty much brand new. I mean, it's got a few nicks and dings in it, but hey, you know, I've been off-road with it, and it goes on the rack that I put on the back of my truck. You know, when we go to meet people and ride in different locations. In our area, they are repurposing a bunch of old railway, interurban type railway tracks that were out there. So they tore up the tracks, they graded them all off, they poured a 10-foot wide piece of asphalt down through the center. You can ride quite literally hundreds of miles around here. And what they're doing is they're connecting these towns that are 15, 20, 25 miles away from the central town, which is about maybe 10 miles from here. And again, you can ride, you can go out for an all-day ride, ride 15, 30 miles, not know it, you know, just have a great time. One thing I would suggest that you do is experiment with seats, talk to people. This came with a really wide padded, kind of like a tractor seat's what I called it. I found though that because it swept out so wide that it irritated the back of my legs when I was riding. So I've ended up with a much narrower seat. This one has a split. I don't know if you guys can see that from back here, but it's got a split right here. Gentlemen, that is for your private parts to ensure that blood flows and things are comfortable down there. It does add for better airflow. I think a lot of the ladies' bikes are starting to incorporate this into it now as well. But it's just been an all-around, all-purpose, absolutely great starter bike. You can't buy this one at the big box stores. You're going to have to go to your local bicycle shop, anybody that sells the brand name Giant. This is my personal choice. There are 1,000 variations on bicycles out there. Go out, go to your local bicycle store, support your local bicycle stores, ride all the different bikes, find one that's comfortable for you. They'll help you set it up, they'll help you size it, get it to where it fits you, and then it's a comfortable, far more enjoyable ride. Watch a few YouTube videos. You'll notice that my seat post on this is fairly high. I don't like to have my knees clear up into my chest when I'm riding like that and pushing down. I like to be able to extend my leg as I'm pushing down on the pedals. So again, get these things adjusted, get it so that it's comfortable for you and that you will get out and do some riding. Again, bushcrafting and all of these things that we do out there, and prepping and whatever you want to call it, it's all predicated on being fit enough to actually get from point A to point B and then enjoy yourself along the way. This is a great way to build up the strength in your lower body, your legs for hiking and things like that. And it's just a downright pleasure to do. It is a hoot. If you can hook up with, you know, local bicycle shops, or not shops, but bicycle groups of people, clubs, if you will. We've got one in our local area. They probably have 300 or 400 members. They post a ride schedule out there. We hook up with them and ride all the time. I mean, we've gone out in groups of 40, 50 people. And it's a lot of fun. It strings out. We ride out into the country. But then you've got a support network. You've got people there. If you have a flat tire, you've got a problem with your bike, there's always somebody who's going to stop and help. Every one of us have been on the side of the road with a flat tire at one time or another, or we've been out on the trail, 15 miles from civilization, and you've got to be able to take care of yourself out there. And if you can't, somebody along the way will stop and help. That's just the way bicyclists are. We tend to be good people. Yeah, you're going to have snobs, you're going to have the novices, you're going to have, everything out there. But there's always going to be a core of people that are ready and willing to pass on the knowledge, to lend a helping hand. I know I've stopped and changed tires, at least 20 times for other people. Giving them a little instruction along the way. And the only reason I do that is because I've probably had 15 flat tires, inner tubes that burst or a tire that gets cut, whatever the case may be. I've actually had to walk my bike home once just because it tore the sidewall on the tire, and I couldn't use the dollar bill trick or anything else just to limp back home. But hey, you know what? I got some exercise out of the deal, and yes, even though I'm round, I'm less round as a result of spending, almost 7,000 miles on this bike. I have another bike, it's a street bike. I'll show that in a different video. And I've got about 7,000 miles on that bike too, and I've had that one for probably 4 years now. But that's to get up, go fast, ride with the big dogs, That's when we want to go out and ride 60 miles on a weekend and do it in a few hours, then, we get on the street bikes and go. But just general purpose exercise, this bike will run you about $400, give or take a little bit, depends on where you buy it, whether you're getting them new, whether you're getting them used. Kind of obviously the economy of whatever city you live in is going to have an impact on it. But for a hybrid mountain bike / street bike like this, you cannot go wrong. They are very comfortable. They are just a pleasure to ride. And again, the one thing is, be in shape. If you need to employ those bushcrafting / prepping skills, you have to be in shape. And this is one of the great ways to get there. I love this bicycle. It's been a fantastic bike for me. Go to your local bicycle shops, guys. Ride them. See what they've got out there. Get it configured so that it fits you, so that when you're on that bike, you are comfortable and look forward to the next ride, not lament the last one. This is a great way to get started. Again, this is a 24-speed bike. I would recommend putting a rack on it so that you can carry a bag. I'll shoot another video and show you how, what my rack is, the bag that I've got for it, etc. Always carry a tire pump on your bicycle, that way you can re-inflate it. This is a manual one that you literally have to pump the tires up. They've got little pistol grip ones with CO2 cartridges in them, and in a matter of seconds it'll inflate the tire. But the problem is, it's a one-time use. With a pump like this, I can pump up 7 tires along the way. So, these are all trade-offs and things that you have to know and things that you have to look at yourself. We'll go into some more detail about the bag that I carry underneath the seat here in another video. But I think, this is basically a repair kit and a small inner tube, or a replacement inner tube. I carry the pump on here. I've got a water bottle holder on it. It does have a tail light back here on the back of the rack. That's important, especially around dusk and dawn, so that people can see you. I do have a headlight that goes on it. This is the Surface, it's called. It's like SER, FUS, or FAS. It's 150 lumens. This is actually my wife. Mine's 250 lumens, extremely bright light. You can kind of see that flashing there. Multiple settings where you can turn it down all the way down to the flashing. Guys, let me just say this about the flashing one. This just tells people that you need help, that it's an emergency, whatever the case may be. Try not to ride with that flashing like that. You can induce somebody into an epileptic seizure. And just frankly, when you're riding at me and you've got that thing flashing, I find that to be a huge irritant. I'd rather you had the light on steady and pointed down slightly as opposed to up into the faces of the people that are coming. If you're at night and it's dusk and it's a heavy and traffic environment, maybe the flash would be okay. But again, it's so much of a distraction that I think it's dangerous, and the only time you should use it is to signal that you need help. My personal opinion, don't shoot me a bunch of comments and wah about that. That's my opinion. When I'm riding and I see that light flashing coming at me, I find it very difficult to look up. I have to look away, which means I'm not paying attention to you coming at me. But again, guys, get off the couch. Get outside. Do something spectacular. Ride a few miles on a bicycle. You'll be surprised at how much better you're going to feel. And quite frankly, you'd be surprised how fast the miles can come out from underneath of you. It is an amazing thing. It is a heck of a lot of fun. And just, again, get off that couch, get outside, ride your bike. Have a good time. We'll see you out on the trails.